Hey guys, welcome back to another week. It's Wednesday and today we're in Garda, Italy at the World Cup event. Today is the day 3 or 4. Which day is it today, Alex?
It's day 3.
It's day 3. Unfortunately today we have rain. So far we ran one day of the qualification series and one day with the relay team. Today was supposed to be a qualification, however we end up with rain, so we are on hold for now. Today my guest is Alex Bachev. He's a professional athlete from Bulgaria. He's been racing many years. I knew him for the last 5 years. We've been good friends since the first time we met together. He has so many insights about the kite surfing. He can really judge about what's the direction the sport is taking right now. He is the voting member. He's introducing the Bulgarian National Kite Association at the IKA AGM meeting, so he's one of the leaders of the movement of kitesurfing in Bulgaria, and I'm stoked to have him today on the show. We're gonna talk a lot and see what's going on in the world of kitesurfing.
Thanks for inviting me, Dennis.
Yeah, you're welcome. And then, Alex, we start pretty much with everyone. I think everyone would like to know a little bit about your background. When did you start kiting? When did you switch to foil? What was your beginning in the kite surfing?
Yeah, well, my story starts about 10 years ago. I used to spend every summer on the seaside in Bulgaria, and I was doing a bit of windsurfing. But then my father started kiting lessons, and I was helping him, running after him on the beach. Then
how old were you at then?
I was like 10, 11 years old. And after I saw him kiting and all the other guys at the home spot, I decided that I want to do it as well. So the next year I took some lessons and forgot about windsurfing immediately. And focused solely on kiting.
Yeah, the kite hooked you up.
Yeah, it's literally that way.
I knew that at some point you switched to racing, but you still were doing freestyle. I saw your pictures with doing a back mob, spline judge.
Yeah, in my first years I was doing freestyle only. I was focusing on wake style, and I was doing the events in Bulgaria. We had some freestyle competitions. Yeah, not really high level, but I really enjoyed it. I used to spend all my school holidays, summer vacations on the seaside in Bulgaria or on a windy island somewhere, and I used to learn all the tricks. And then in 2012 there was this rumor or this decision that kitesurfing is going to be in the Olympics in 2016, and there was a lot of noise about it. We were supposed to have a national team and do camps, trainings, events, so I really wanted to be part of all this, and I started training on a race board, and I did my first World Championships in 2012 in Sardinia. So yeah, over the course of 6 months I got some equipment and started training. Then unfortunately the decision was undone in a way.
Was it in
2013? Okay. I think it was winter, but then I've already invested some time and I got the equipment and I started getting some better results from competitions, and I actually enjoyed it, so I decided to keep pushing. And yeah, that's about 2013. That's the start of my real racing career.
Actually, for me too, because I was doing freestyle before 2013, and then when all this fuss happened with the Olympic Games, I was like, yeah, you know, I don't see myself being really good at freestyle. I was like, I want to transition to racing and transition then. And when the decision was made that the game's going to be cancelled, actually, it kind of played out in my favor, because my first time I stepped on this like a real race board was in November 2013, and there is no chance I would be ready for the Olympic Games. And I was like, I think I knew since the beginning that if it's going to be there, because it's kind of follows the path of the windsurfing. One was included, then excluded, and then including again. and I felt it's gonna be the same. So I was like, yeah, no, let's keep training and be. And actually, the first time I saw you, it was because I started the racing in 2013, and my coach Alex and Anastasia, they went to China for the World Cup.
Yeah.
And the first time I saw your pictures there, because I was looking at all the pictures of the racers, and I was asking Alex, who's that guy? So I saw you racing there. It was really nice. I think the first time I met you was actually in.
It was Sardinia, the youth championship.
Youth championship. Okay.
Yeah. It was the same time. Yeah, the first time we met.
Yeah, and the second was Egypt.
Yeah, second was
in African Games in June. Okay. How was and because you were there since the beginning, you obviously remember the transition from the race boards to the hydrofoils. How was this transition for you? Were you really happy with it? And in general, how do you things end up being at the end?
Well, the transition was kind of gradual. Around 2014, 2015, we saw this movement starting mainly in the States.
Yes.
And people were gradually switching from Formula KITE, from the 3-fin race boards to the foil, or they were doing both classes together. And I was kind of focused only on the race board because they started to get some good results, and I really wanted to keep getting better and not really spread my time on the two classes. And at some point there was one line which we crossed around the end of 2015, where maybe 80% of the foil of the raceboard fleet was already foiling. And then next year, with the new class rules, we could use foils in the Formula KITE events.
Yeah, they've changed them.
Yeah, they've changed them, and from that moment everybody was on foils already.
Okay.
So I was actually a bit late compared to the other guys who had already been foiling for a year or two.
Yeah.
But the transition wasn't that difficult, because if you can do all the maneuvers on the race board and you already know how the races are going, what you have to do, it's just a bit of time to learn to
adjust to the new
technique. Yeah.
But overall, how do you like hydrofoils compared to race boards?
Well, it's a huge step forward.
It definitely is.
First, performance-wise, you are much faster. You can kite in lower winds, and the acceleration is insane. The speed is just terrific.
Yes.
And I also feel it's way easier on the body, because I used to get a lot of pain in my ankles on the race board because of that weird position we used to ride.
Okay.
And it feels much smoother, much cooler, like getting into a next class race car.
Exactly.
It was a great improvement.
Yeah, I think the hydrofoils just in general they're so good that I'm so glad they've changed from the race boards. I'm enjoying every time I'm out in the water. It doesn't matter if I practice or just kite for myself.
Yeah, and just adding this extra dimension in your your freedom while you kite, you can just move in all axes, and it feels so much better.
100%. Yesterday we had the first event in the world for the relay mixed team in the Formula KITE class. Approximately this format would be used in Olympic Games. I'll shortly explain the format. It's basically, we have a transition zone. So we'll say we have a couple of races. In some races the male starts first, some races female starts first. We'll say that when the female starts first, they do a lap, and then when they come into the transition zone, the male can start, and then the male does the race and then finishes. Overall, from my side's perspective, I was racing there. It was an amazing event. I enjoyed it a lot. We need to do some work on the small details, like the transition zone, maybe a couple of rules, adjust the distance of the course. But overall, I felt it was really, for me it was really fresh, and I could really see the fairness in there, because I could see how both girls and boys would compete together for the medal, not in separate fleets. You didn't go there because you didn't have a girl with you to race there, but you were a spectator. How was it for you to look at this format compared to just the normal races?
Well, actually, the racing was pretty interesting watching it from the beach. Like when I first heard that we're going to get one medal for a mixed team, I imagined it was going to be like not a really cool format where we have the women's races and we have the men races, and then we add the results or the points or something like that according to a formula, and that really sounded like doing your best, and your team partner is doing her best, and then it felt like both of you deserve separate rankings.
There was really like a joint effort.
Yeah, but this format, it really feels like team racing, and I find it really interesting to watch because you get that element of having an advantage or disadvantage depending on how your partner has finished, and then you have to catch up or keep the lead. And the fleet is more spread, so it's easier to follow the action from the beach, because in a normal start you have 30 kites starting together, and for somebody staying on the beach it's very difficult to realize who is in front, who is behind, until they all line up on the lane line.
And then in these races, I think the format they're aiming to be for the one race it's going to be 11 teams, so it means 11 riders per lap. So it's that 11 male would start, and then they would come to the transition, and then 11 female would start. That's definitely less than 30 guys, so you can really see who's racing. And what else is, as you said, that's the thing when someone gains an advantage into the race, and then you need to catch up with them, and you see how really like the spectators see if this guy can catch up with this guy, or if this guy can keep his lead and not to crash, because everything is online in every single race. And what I found also very interesting, because we can see from the results that the first team had 6 points, the second team had 7 points, and the third team had also 7 points. Generally, I think results are really fair, because everyone is so close together and is literally fighting for just this 1 point or this one place over the other place to take an advantage in the placing.
Yeah, it's definitely getting way more interesting to watch. Because it doesn't depend all on you. You have to, like, the team has to do well as a whole. And it's just more fun to watch.
Absolutely. So I know for a fact that we had a meeting and they said that they're going to be trying this format in all next major events, and they will try to polish it for the Olympic Games 2024. That's the plan from the IKA. Then we're in Garda in Italy for the World Cup in 2019. This year it's a bit an early World Cup. It's end of April, beginning of May. How do you like? I've never been to Garda, first of all, and I love this place. It's like the water is amazing, the view. I think you can see the mountains. Yesterday it's raining, there were clouds, but when there's no clouds, we can walk here in the shorts, and we can see snow up in the mountains. And I think just amazing and beautiful. Also, for you, I have a question. Have you ever raced before in the lake?
No, I've never been to Garda.
Okay.
And
but in general, have you ever raced in not salt water?
Yeah, I did a really small regional competition in a lake in Austria, and it's definitely different from racing in the sea. You don't get the same chop. The water is fresh. It's not salty.
I think you also don't get as much lift as in the sea.
Yeah, exactly. That's because of the difference in the water, and it's. I actually really enjoy Garda as a place to train and to race. As you've said, the scenery is just
amazing,
brilliant. You're tacking and driving 10 meters from a 900 meters high rock right next to it.
Have you ever
And
tried to? Well, I did try. During the practice, I would go to the big rock, the mountain, and if you would go to it and then you would jibe under the rock, and while jibing, just look up. You're losing your mind. It feels like, first of all, it feels like you're flying. You lose the perception of where you are, because all you see is the sky and the rock just goes up in you, and the kite is rotating there, and you're completely lost. Have you tried it? Next time you go out, it's an amazing feeling. It's like you're flying.
Well, to be honest, I'm a bit more focused on the actual jibe while I'm doing it so close to the rock,
Yeah.
trying not to hit it, because maybe I could try it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great venue. It's really cool that you get wind every day. It's like a wind machine. In the morning until the early afternoon, you get the strong wind from the north, and then in an hour transition period, you get the southern wind.
Yes.
And it's not that constant everywhere around the lake, but that's good, because you can have a good training and a good tactical race, and that's great.
Yes.
It's a great place to
I
kite.
think so. Yeah, and then because this podcast, I think I like not only to bring the information to the viewers about the events and what we're doing, but also because I'm most speaking with the professional athletes, I would really like to maybe educate those ones who can come to these events and talk to us personally. So let's talk a little bit about the current techniques and the current styles of riding. And let's start like this. I think for the last year, the maneuvers became really important because of the short track format.
Yeah.
And you can really get an advantage on tucks and jibes. What would be your advice for people who would like to learn really quick and powerful tucks and jibes? What they should focus on technically, or what their mental state and focus should be?
Well, obviously they have to put a lot of hours.
Okay, so
and to
hours,
do
hours,
a lot
hours.
of a lot of tries. They have to train a lot, and they have to make sure they have the proper setup to do it. Because if you have a kite on a 30 meters lines, you can't do a fast jibe or a fast tuck. It just takes so much time for the kite to fly through the window. So you need shorter lines, and then you have to be really precise in all the components of the maneuvers and get the timing right, and be a bit more aggressive with
Trying.
not only with trying, like going into the tuck or starting the jibe. You should be really confident in yourself, like send the kite up full speed. Otherwise it can't happen fast if you're not really confident and waiting for the moment for every wave to pass until you reach the.
So would be your advice? Just to pass? Yeah, to find the perfect moment to tuck.
Yeah.
Or jibe. So would your advice be just to go and try, especially try when you feel it's uncomfortable for you? Let's say you go and you say, as I tell you how I do. I never, when I'm training, I never do the jibe or tuck like, okay, I'm gonna do it there. What I do is I usually go and I say, I count to 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and when it's 5, no matter if I'm on the top of the wave, flat, chop, I do the tuck or jibe when I say 5.
Yeah, that's actually what I'm doing as well. Instead, I'm counting to 10, but it's the same method. Yeah.
So it's basically to make you make the tuck or jibe in as possibly random places as
you should be able to do it whenever, wherever you are, whatever the waves are, the wind is. That's important, but it's also important to, if you want to do them fast, to be really aggressive and come into the tuck or jibe with a lot of speed and not to be afraid. Because I remember back in the days when I was learning the maneuvers, for example the jibe, I would slow down a bit, get a bit higher angle,
Okay.
going downwind.
Like bear away.
Yeah, bear away and leave the kite and wait until I feel the moment when I'm confident.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
if I want to
basically,
do it
yeah,
fast,
usually guys just
no
send
time
it,
for
you
it,
know, just, you know, like if you go for a jibe attack, the powerful one, you just send it. You don't think about the consequences, you just go and do it. And I think that, yeah, that's pretty much the only way you can do the best tacks out there, because if you don't risk, you don't get as good results as the people who risk them.
yeah, and in the end, it's just a lot of training. So
Hours and
you
hours
have,
in the
yeah, you
water.
have to just keep trying and trying until you nail it.
Yeah, and I think I want to
perfectly.
point this one because also, especially, I think you should do it consciously. You shouldn't be just going without any practice, just fresh out on the foil and do the craziest thing, because you're gonna injure yourself. And I think you should feel, you should kite for some time. You should get used to your equipment. You should be feeling very comfortable at your level and being confident in what you're doing. Because if you just going fresh, say you've never done it, you're still crashing on the jibes or tucks, and you decide you're gonna do the best jibe right now, you're gonna loop the kite as powerful as you can, you're probably gonna crash. So I think it's very important just to think about it, and at the same time being do things really on the edge, but at the same time being mindful of the consequences, and you should actually like push to the line, but never push to where you can really injure yourself.
Yeah, of course, nobody should overestimate his abilities.
Yes.
Yeah, you just have to work step by step, and eventually you get there.
Exactly. And then Alex, I have one more question to you. Right now, this is the first event when the IKEA really imposed few new safety rules. First of all, they imposed the helmet, they imposed the life vest, and they imposed the flag out system. Right, three new things. You can choose one of them, or you can tell me about all three of them. What do you think about these new regulations?
I actually think that's the positive way to go, because in the past helmets and vests were not mandatory unless some stormy conditions were around, and the sport is, I mean, it's relatively dangerous, and especially while we're racing and we're pushing our limits very close together, that could be lethal. So I really endorse the idea of mandatory helmets and life vests. I think it's really making our lives safer. I have mixed thoughts on the flag out system, because the kites we are using, the foil kites, they don't really like the flag outs, because when you release the kite in strong wind and it's flying only on one side, on one line, the bridles are stretching, the material is
I think
I
think maybe we need to look more deeply into it and see whether it's really efficient, or maybe we can do something else about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Alex, I think we're gonna kind of finish it up here. Thank you very much for being here on the show. And I think in future maybe just changing the name from the Kite Podcast to Kite Show. I'm not sure.
Well, I think there is a kite show actually from the Kite World MAC, or there used to be one. But
okay, yeah. Anyway, thank you very much, Alex, for being here. And look, there's the camera. I want you to look into it and say anything you want. You know, just like you can say, "Hey, mom," "Hey, dad," or you can say, you know, "Go home," or "Go big," or "Go home." You know, just say something to them. What do you think important right now?
Well, I really want to thank my sponsors for supporting me on my way, and I want to tell to all the kiting kids and young athletes, and not only young, to everybody, to have a try foiling and try this sport, this discipline of kite surfing, because it's really a completely different thing from normal kiting. And I also want to challenge kids to give a try in racing, in regattas, because usually kids think that sailing is not cool and it's kind of for old people, but actually racing is pretty interesting as well.
Very touching. Thank you, Alex. Thank you very much. By the way, all your links for the Instagram and Facebook are gonna be down here. What's your Instagram? Tell us really quick.
Yeah, it's Alexander Bachev,
Okay.
I think.
And also, we're gonna tag him on Facebook. Do you want me to tag any sponsors specifically for you in description?
Well, you could do that. Would be nice.
Yeah, 100%. Bro.
Yeah, my general sponsor is Livity.
Livity.
Yeah, they're doing
The KITE bar is amazing one. I love them. Really
yeah,
tasty.
true. You've tried them already.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. I had one of the first boxes. He brought it to me. But it's gonna be down in the description. Try check them out. What else?
I got a really cool Bulgarian brand which produces wetsuits.
Okay, which
I'm
one?
riding with them. It's called Runawave.
Runawave.
Yeah.
I think if you're in Bulgaria, especially, try it. Also, the link is gonna be for the website and Facebook, their page in the description.
Thank you. Well, yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. Guys, thank you very much for watching again. Comment down below your thoughts. And we, with lots of competition, sometimes it's tough to get this podcasts in and just to film them because we're really tired. And I mean, thanks for this day when there's no wind, we can kind of bump them up, do a couple of them, then release them later. So thank you again for watching and see you next Wednesday. Bye.
Bye.